gotta say that. You don't gotta say that. I'm.
Oh, hey, Chatter.
After the clash that ensued on the last Patreon title Team Players, where Marc Lamont Hill and Queenzflip almost came to blows that left us all like, oh my God. The crew comes back on episode 869 titled Tricky Words, being more plastic than the plastics. Ugh. Then you have Marc, who has said he doesn't use t-shirts for subtle cues and took the opportunity to show up in a t-shirt that of course would say sucker free. And no, we're not talking about the Chupa Chups or Blow Pop, but the words that set him off. I don't know, y'all. This pod and the energy felt so stiff and so forced.
Yeah, you good. I had to ask him, yeah.
Yeah.
He know about it. Anytime it come to that, men getting pregnant.
It was really hard for me to watch. How about you guys?
I'm done with Akon.
Mark, quick question. Can a black woman be a feminist? Because I heard in the
And before closing out the show, Joe Budden forewarns Marc and Flip that they will have to apologize on Patreon.
Yo, when the Joe Budden Patreon starts, I'm not continuing it until both of y'all apologize.
But will we see one happen on screen? And is it even necessary? Flip seems to take this demand in stride, but when the camera pans to Marc, he seems to have a totally different reaction, almost like he ate something bitter.
Be nice. I'm finding it.
And I feel like this just changed the dynamic between Marc and Joe. One thing about Marc is he seems to know how to play the long game. He's been in that corporate world, but so does Joe. Will this be a point of contention between Marc and Joe? I feel like the writing is starting to be etched on the wall, and it does not look like their dynamic will last long. But for now, focusing on the issue at hand, do you think either Marc or Flip will give pushback to Joe's demand when it comes time for the Patreon? And while Flip asks for clarification whether Joe wants the apology on camera or off camera,
Friday they're gonna be honed in to see what the apology sound like.
on camera, off camera.
Parks quickly chimes in and says, on camera, let the apology be as loud as the disrespect.
Absolutely. However y'all want to do it. On camera. What happened on camera? I want an apology from you and Marc.
Make the apology as loud as the disrespect.
And this raises the question for me. I don't know about for you guys, but are Marc and Flip the only ones who owe an apology? Because the way it looked, this wasn't just a two-man incident. For every action, there is a reaction.
And then you get behind the scenes and say, like, if Flip or Monty is paid less, I'll take it.
What?
The whole show is turning into improper improv, I tell you, because I did not even catch Mona saying this about Marc.
Online that what beef with.
And I'm wondering if they scared her off and if the apology is also for Mona, although Joe does not name her. And Joe's words fueled the scenario. He poured the gasoline and he lit the match, except I don't think the reaction was what he thought it was going to be. It ended up being much bigger than anyone could ever expect. Did he attempt to defuse it though? We can see him on camera scrolling on his phone and saying he's putting it all out. It's not just the audience watching, remember. So why? And can this have a larger impact on the JBP than just clicks and views? So with that question in mind, I had put a poll up to you guys, Chatterboxx fam, and here is how you answered. After Joe said Marc and Flip owe the cast and the audience an apology, who do you feel actually owes one? You answered with Flip at 4%, Marc at 24%, Flip and Marc 42% being the majority, and Joe, second runner-up, being 29%. Notice something here? More people believe Joe himself owes an apology than Flip alone, who seemed to take the brunt of the blame for the way things played out, mostly because of Flip's track record. But your votes tell a different story. You didn't just see the chaos, you saw the instigation and the play. And although Flip has said Marc winked at him, and you can hear Marc saying, "I love you, Flip," a couple times during the interaction.
You know what, Marc? You know the difference?
I love you, Flip.
It's different between trying to make...
It got out of control. And now Joe has told them straight up that they owe the cast and the audience an apology and that he was serious. So when the Patreon starts, they won't be surprised. But will we actually see one? And was there a post-pod conversation that will change Joe's demand? In my take on the clash between Marc and Flip, where in my opinion it sounded like the way Marc started questioning Flip sounded like he was speaking from a managerial tone, is this Joe's way of reminding everyone who runs this set and also resetting the room? In the middle of everyone dissecting the blow up or clash, Joe Budden seems to be calling for order in the court and laying the next storyline out that boundaries will be set. Joe knows exactly how to push each of their buttons, and he and Flip accidentally discovered marks on that episode. Is Joe helping do cleanup because this blow up could have done some damage to Marc's image, especially when Marc says he was getting calls about it? And what can we expect in the future? He knows the audience is watching closely for power shifts. So what do you think the future holds for the Joe Budden podcast and its co-hosts as each member branches out and has created their own Patreons? Is this apology to come more than a reconciliation and more of a room reset to let Marc Flip know neither is above the other and that neither is above the gig?
Like, it's cool that y'all pieced it up, but I didn't come to terms with it yet. If you my man, just apologize and let's keep it moving. Don't fight with me about it.
So that brings me to the real questions. Will they really apologize? Is one even necessary? Because as Joe says, the gig is the gig. And if this was a wink wink from Marc and performative from Joe, then why? Is this sounding like by any means necessary, Joe's getting those coins? And how far is each pod member willing to go to help him get there? I mean, we do see him plug in those Patreons I mentioned and joking through it. Drop your thoughts below. Is this Joe's way of showing who's in control? Even in the way he spoke on claiming their Patreons when he walks in the upper office? Is this just his way of trying to stretch the story out for views on the Patreon to get to that 100 mil? And do you think they will really apologize on camera after seeing Marc and Flip's reactions? You already know what to do. Let's talk about it in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, and go check out my Patreon.